So now that we can talk about everything that we couldn't say, it's time to ask ourselves, how much did our governments know going into this pandemic when it came to lockdowns and closures? Because we all want to give our leaders a benefit of the doubt, saying that they were doing our best with the information we had. But what information did they really have? Well, according to this article from the National Library of Medicine, I won't tell you when it was written or what pandemic they're looking at, because I want you to guess by the end of this video. So in this report, they found that social distancing did not stop or decrease transmission in Lome, British-occupied Tonga, Edmonton, Canada. They closed schools and churches. Public gatherings were banned, among other business closures. Isolation measures were enacted as well. Unfortunately, the disease could still lodge itself into Tonga anyway, despite the measures placed on its citizens. The measures placed on Canada during the pandemic showed no significant outcome. And a comprehensive report from the United States discovered that closing public meetings, i.e. churches and schools, etc., were not demonstrably effective in urban areas, but may have been effective in smaller popular rural areas. In Australia, political tensions grew between the governments and states as the citizens were seeking to protect themselves. The cause was from growing tensions was delayed reporting, interstate border quarantines, and quarantine resistance. And also the discontinuation of traveling by train. The New South Wales was recorded the following excerpt in specific detail, and here it is. So after the first case was diagnosed in Sydney and determined that it was from the neighbouring state of Victoria, measures were taken by the South Wales Interstate Board to prevent the importation of additional cases. This included the first prohibition of all inbound land traffic, later to be placed by quarantine and detention camps, hello Canada, or Australia, at which inbound travelers were required to remain for the first 7 days. Also, the ships of Victoria State were required to anchor in Sydney Harbour for 4 days, after which disembarking to be fully medically inspected. After Sydney had nevertheless become severely affected, restrictions on travel in Sydney were also imposed. The report states that the land quarantine, interstate travel restriction benefits were very meager. This expert was done in 1919. This was for the Spanish flu pandemic. So they knew that all the stuff that they imposed on you in 2020 didn't work back in 1919. So now we need to ask why. And it's time to talk about everything we couldn't say.